Welcome back to the 1.9 inch crawler tyre showdown, and we are into round two, the quarterfinals, and we have the mix racing crawler tyres, otherwise known as the Fake Tusks, up against the Traxxas Canyon Trail cut tyres. Just to go over a few things, I'll talk about dimensions. The Fake Tusk tyre is 120 millimeters tall, it's 48 millimeters wide. The Canyon Trail cut is coming in at 116 millimeters tall and the same 48 millimeters wide. As far as inserts go, the Tusk is running the Fake Tusk is running the same insert that it ran in the first round, which is the pink Famonda soft insert. Now the insert fills out the tyre quite well, but it is a little bit short, so there is a millimetre or probably a couple of millimetres gap in between the height of this insert and the height of the tyre. I find that actually helps a little bit, makes it a little bit more softer on the outer and potentially gives it a little bit more grip. Now the Fake Tusk, for those who have been paying attention, the Fake Tusk, I'm getting my tyres mixed up. The Traxxas Canyon Trail cut, in the first round, it actually ran the blue Endura medium insert. Now what I've actually done is I've actually swapped it for the pink Famonda soft insert, and I've cut out every second rib on the outer. Now I did put a lot of thought into this about changing inserts midway through, and there's two arguments. One is I'm changing it and it's not an even test. But I decided to go ahead and do it anyway, because the flip side of that is I know the tyre can perform better, and I know that I own an insert that will make the tyre perform better. So I felt that I would change the insert, and if I find any other tyres which I feel would benefit by changing the insert, and I have the insert, then I'm going to do it. I think if this tyre lost, then I would be, in the back of my mind, I would know that potentially it lost because I didn't put in the best insert that I owned. Now, when I started this test, I believed that the blue Endura insert was the best, and as I've driven it more, I've come to realise that it's not, and I've gone with that pink Famonda with every second outer rib cut off. The reason I didn't like the Endura in this tyre is that the Traxxas Canyon Trail is a relatively wide tyre, and the blue Endura insert just didn't fill it out. So now it's got the pink Famonda insert, it takes up that whole width, and with the blue Endura insert there was a gap on the side, and I just felt that the insert was moving around in the tyre, and this tyre wasn't performing as well as it possibly could. So at the end of the day, I understand that there's an argument that I shouldn't be changing inserts, but I feel that every tyre should get the maximum chance to perform in this test. And given that I haven't had to go out and buy an insert, I've got these inserts here, I haven't gone out of the way too much to make that happen. So enough talking, we'll head down to the crawl yard, and I have a number of obstacles. I think there's 14 in total that I'm going to put these tyres through, which is more than double what we did in the first round, but I just want to, I need to have more obstacles, because I think the closer or the longer the test, or the further into the test we get, the more evenly the tyres are going to be matched, and we need more obstacles to attempt to separate them and find the winner. Right, I just wanted to go over the scoring system again before we watch the footage. The winning tyre over each obstacle is awarded 10 points. The losing tyre over each obstacle will be awarded between 8 and 9.5 points depending on performance. So if it can't complete an obstacle, or it has a lot of trouble, it will only be awarded an 8. If it only just misses out on winning an obstacle, it will get 9.5 points, and in between those two, a tyre could be awarded 9 or 8.5 points. In the event that both tyres draw and both complete the obstacle the same, they will both be awarded 10 points. Right, we're on to the first obstacle, and the Fake Tusk is first up. A little bit of scrambling, wheel spin to get up there. Now the Fake Tusk will drive first every obstacle as it's the top seed. And onto the Canyon Trail cut. Slight bit of wheel spin there, otherwise straight up I'll give the Canyon Trail a 10 and the Fake Tusk a 9.5. Into our smooth concrete obstacle, Fake Tusk. Got a bit of slippage there at the bottom, but with a bit of wheel speed we get up. And the Canyon Trail cut. Again, a little bit of wheel spin. And I'm going to call that a draw. I'm going to award both tyres 10. Onto the rougher concrete Fake Tusk. That's an absolute walk in the park. That's as good as that can be driven. And the Canyon Trail cut. A little bit of hopping there. I'm going to give the Fake Tusk a 10, Canyon Trail a 9. Onto our side hill. And the Fake Tusk with a bit of a punch gets through. And the Canyon Trail, just lining it up right. Again, a little bit of punch. I went through. I'll give both tyres a 10. Now this obstacle here, I've missed the mark a little bit on this obstacle. It should be harder than it is. It's meant to be testing side hill stability, but I think I might need to put some markers on it because I think it can work. And it will be a good indicator of side hill ability, but I need to maybe put some markers on there and maybe put it on a bit more of an angle. Now that said, it's not a complete walk in the park, and that's why I'm taking it very slowly there, because that dip there in particular, if I take that too fast or line it up wrong, it's difficult to get through. And the Fake Tusk makes light work of that obstacle. And on to the Canyon Trail cut. And I have said this before, but I just want to assure everyone that's watching is that these are filmed on the same day. It's a lot of the filming was done when it's quite cloudy. So basically I drive every obstacle with a one tyre. I take the tyres off, swap them over, and drive every obstacle again because also there's only about a 20-minute break in between driving. And the Canyon Trail makes that obstacle no problems at all. I give both tyres a 10. Onto our step type obstacle with the Fake Tusk. It's climbing very well, and that is as easy as any tyre has done that obstacle. And onto the Canyon Trail cut. Once again, making very light work of that. That's another top performance. I give both tyres a 10. Onto this short side hill section here, we get to that point, we need to turn right to get that back rear tyre to the grip, and the Fake Tusk does that very easily. And onto the Canyon Trail cut. Again, makes light work. For that, both tyres score a 10. Onto our smooth hebel blocks here. It's kind of like lightweight concrete, those blocks at the top. Now at that point where we need to reverse down as far as we can to get a bit of a run up, then punch the tyre, or punch the vehicle up. That was very, very well done. So it's not a negative that the tyre or that the vehicle gets to that point and has to reverse down. That's just the way it is. You can't. It's impossible to get up the obstacle without doing that. Just getting the and the Canyon Trail gets up easily. Both score a 10 on that obstacle. Now on to our spiral staircase and back to the Fake Tusk. Making really good progress at the moment. We're getting to the point there where we need to start bumping. I've never been able to just drive this obstacle. It always involves at least a couple of bumps towards the top. And the Fake Tusk that was very, very close. He's making a good fist of that and does it very well. And onto the Canyon Trail cut. This spiral staircase it's hard to know what sort of tyre performs better. There doesn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason. Initially, when I built it, I felt like it was the tyres that had the bigger tread blocks performed better. But as I've been driving this more often, it doesn't seem to be a factor. The Fake Tusk doesn't have big tread blocks. They're quite modest, but it does have really soft rubber, whereas the Canyon Trail is a bit different. It does have bigger tread blocks, and the rubber's not as soft. But yeah, there just doesn't seem to be any real sort of rhyme or reason as to which sort of tyre performs better. Now, that was really close. Now, the Canyon Trail had a bit more of an issue on that obstacle, so I'm scoring the Fake Tusk a 10 and the Canyon Trail cut a 9. Onto our smooth pine logs. Now that is really, really well driven by the Fake Tusk. It's quite a difficult climb. And Canyon Trail. Now it's very hard to be able to drive that from that point. Most times you need a slight bump like that to get up, but that is very, very well driven as well. And I scored both tyres a 10. Onto the next obstacle, which is a very short climb. Which proves to be quite difficult through a lot of tyres. A lot of tyres, it feels like it should drive up. There comes a point where you're sort of looking there and you go, yeah, that's going to drive, and then it doesn't. It's a tough, short obstacle. So I'm going to give this a few goes with the Fake Tusk. Give it a bit of a bump. Just offline there. It can be a frustrating little obstacle that. Bit of a bump and the Fake Tusk gets up. Onto the Canyon Trail cut. It's around about almost at that point there. Feels like I should just drive up, but yeah, I've said it plenty of times before in these tests, but it just seems ridiculously easy, but it's just not. And even there, it feels like it's about to go up. Little tumble and fall. We're just trying to bump it now. I've given up time to drive that. We're just going to bump it and we get up. I'm going to award both tyres a 10. Right, onto this steep, short climb. The Fake Tusk, you can see the amount of bagging out that the tyre is doing there. I think that from one of the inserts a really good match to this tyre. It's probably a little bit short. The insert's a little bit short for the tyre, if anything, but from a pure grip point of view, I think it really suits this tyre. And what I'm trying to do there is just trying to drive it with a little bit of left and right steering, but at some point I need to bump it. I'm trying to get it to drive. I want it to drive. I will give it every opportunity to drive straight up there, but the tyre wrap is... There we go, we're up. Now we're up. And the Canyon Trail cut. So I was saying before, once I get to that point, I'm steering left to right. I really want the tyre to pull the vehicle up without a sort of bump or anything like that. Just the way that the concrete on the back right hand tyre is positioned, it's almost impossible to try and drive that. And got a bit of a bump. I give the Canyon Trail a 10 and the Fake Tusk a 9.5. Now on this obstacle, back to the Fake Tusk, this is a difficult little obstacle. You can see that tyre wrap on that rear left tyre once again. Now the way I've driven that is pretty much how you have to do it. You've got to go as far over to the left as you can. Probably on the line there. I need to be over further to the left hand side, and I need those tyres to be only half on that concrete, and that's the only way I can get up. I need the back right hand tyre. It's a bit hard to see on that angle, but I need the back right tyre as we slip off. I need that to get up onto that slab of concrete, and once the back right tyre's up, if we can maintain going straight ahead, the vehicle will drive up, but it's sort of easier said than done. Just the way that obstacle is, it does want to push you over to the left hand side. You need to be as far left as you can, but you go too far and it just pushes you over. It is a tough little obstacle, and it is a really good feeling if you manage to get up there. Feels like it wants to, but once I get to that point, it wants to slip over. As with every obstacle, I want to give every tyre the utmost chance to complete the obstacle. So if it means giving it quite a few goes, I'll do it, and I'll only pull the pin when I think that there's no chance, or I'm going to be there for the next half an hour trying to do it. Just doing a bit of a reset. And it's looking pretty good. And we are up eventually. That's a good effort. Onto the Canyon Trail cut. And straight away we have more traction. In fact, we get up first go. It's very, very impressive. Now, just to make sure that wasn't a fluke, I'm giving it another go. I've done this a few times in the test. I don't want to fluke, a sort of an outlier performance to skew the score, but 2 goes, 2 climbs without any real issues. So I'll give the Canyon Trail a 10 and the Fake Tusk an 8.5. And on to the next obstacle, quite high grip. We do need to line that up properly, and that's absolutely perfect. The Fake Tusk. And the Canyon Trail cut. And the perfect line as well. Score both tyres a 10 on that obstacle.
Now, final obstacle is this climb. The Fake Tusk, it's just got to tie itself tied up a little bit there, but it gets up Canyon Trail cut. And it's through. So I award the Canyon Trail cut a 10 and the Fake Tusk a 9.5. Well, there we have it. That's the footage from the test. Not sure if anyone cared enough to add up those scores, but I did, obviously. Now, before I say who won, that's as close as a test can possibly be. These tyres are very evenly matched. They're very different. The Fake Tusk is a very, very soft rubber with a very soft sidewall, and the tread blocks, and I mentioned this before, the tread blocks are quite what I called modest, in that they're not very tall, they're not that aggressive, whereas the Canyon Trail, it's definitely a stiffer rubber. And I have cut, I'm sure I've showed this before, but I have cut the tread blocks through the center, and that's why it is the cut version. Now, the tread blocks are much more pronounced, they're taller, they're more aggressive, the rubber isn't as thin, and it's not as soft, but each of these tyres excels in most areas. I'm kind of dragging this out a little bit because I almost don't want to say which tyre lost, because they were just so close. But I won't drag it out anymore. The winner of this test is the Canyon Trail cut. When I add up the scores, the Canyon Trail cut scored 148 and the Fake Tusk scored 147. So it was very, very close. Unfortunately, the Fake Tusk doesn't make it through to the semi-finals. Now, if I had have seeded the tyres differently, and if you haven't watched the original video, I did at the start, I seeded the tyres as to how I thought they ranked from 1 to 16. And at the time I had the Fake Tusk at 4, and I had the Traxxas Canyon Trail cut at 5. So I was pretty close there. But the way this tyre has performed, it's probably is a top 4 tyre, but it's not going to get through to the top 4 just the way the seeding worked out. So the Canyon Trail cut will go through to the next round. Just a little bit about the mixed racing Fake Tusk. These are incredibly cheap. Australian dollars from AliExpress, you're looking at landed here in Australia of something, I'm going to say $27, which is probably, round figures, how much is that? Probably, I can't work that out. It's $17, $18 US. You can look it up on AliExpress. If the postage is similar to the US and other areas of the country, other areas of the world, than what it is to Australia, you'll pay about 27 Australian dollars, or somewhere around $18 US. And that's actually for 4 tyres, which is incredibly ridiculous good value. What can I say about it? It's an outstanding tyre. It is a very, very good crawler tyre. It is very, very cheap. And if I were on a budget, this is the tyre that I would buy. I would match it with a decent insert, like the Famonda pink insert that I'm using. I think it's matched up very well. It is the insert's slightly undersized height-wise for the tyre, and there is a bit of a gap. If I look down through the hole down there is a couple of mil gap. So it is slightly undersized, but other than that, I think the insert is actually really, really well matched to the tyre. That's about all I can say about that. I think I've covered everything. I'm going to put the graphic up so you can see that the Fake Tusk bows out. The Traxxas Canyon Trail cut goes through to the semi-final, and we'll actually face off against the actual Jconcepts Tusk, which should be a really, really good tyre test again. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't watched the other crawler tyre videos, go back and have a look, and keep an eye out for future videos, because we've still got a few to go where we try to crown the winner of the 1.9 inch crawler tyre showdown. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and see you in the next video.